The notes from my reading are 11 pages long, and yesterday's video, I only made it 15 minutes into the reading. What they were trying to show me is that this would affect everybody on the planet in the furthest corners of the world. Really huge in my reading was this bridge that comes up over and over and over. I think it came up like 5 times during the reading. And specifically, the bridge is one of these stone bridges with arches underneath that they showed me. And every time they showed me that bridge, now 5 times of showing me the bridge, one of the times it was like I heard a thought transfer. It's hard to explain, but you're doing telepathy. So it's mind-to-mind communication. So it's mostly visual images, but occasionally there'll be a drop of that. And it was SEINE, that sign river. But that was only one of the times. So it could be anywhere. Now, I know that bridges keep blowing up in wars, but the thing about this bridge incident that is significant and that they played over and over and over to me is that an errant missile hits this bridge. So, and don't assume it's Russia sending it. Don't assume anything. Just look for the event. The event is this bridge, and that it's so outrageous and so egregious to people that they just all spin out of control. And from that point on, it turns into a rapid escalation, which ends in nuclear warfare. So, I got chills all over. So what they showed me about Putin is that he was not crazy in the slightest bit, that he's extremely intelligent, extremely strategic, and he is very committed and resolute to what he feels is a military exercise. He feels that the West has installed a puppet government in Ukraine, and he feels that if Russia is going to be subjugated by the West, then he's going to send nuclear missiles all over the West. So they frequently flashed through scenes that look similar to this total annihilation. The scenes look a lot like pictures you've seen after Hiroshima or houses exploding due to nuclear blasts. And then they show the frogs and it was like a frogs versus a robot. So the frogs are these trucks with the missiles, and the robots, they might go in to clean up afterwards at some point. But what they showed me was the scenes that they showed me, there was really nothing left standing. It was just all blackness. If there was even like a slight tree stump sticking out of the ground, it was like charcoal. And any few bricks of a building was like black, like everything was blackened, and it was just decimated. And you might think, oh, that's happening right now, but this was something different. This was total annihilation. The person I was doing the reading for asked me if aliens or extraterrestrials were working with world leaders on any of these issues, or working with humans at all. And so what they showed me was a multiplication symbol and the feeling that they've worked with humans since the beginning of the time. The next thing that I was shown was coral, really pretty long coral thing. And at first it had a crystal embedded in it, but then it morphed into a clock, and the time was 7 minutes before midnight. When I did this reading, I had no idea why. I just knew it didn't look good because, midnight could be like the end, and then the 7 minutes, you're pretty close. Like, that's what I was thinking and interpreting it. But apparently there's something called the Doomsday clock, and I didn't even know about that. And so listeners mentioned that, and I looked it up. And I think the best way to find out about that is by Wikipedia. I didn't read the whole thing, but even the first paragraph, I was like, well, that's it for sure. They actually made this clock in 1947 to calculate every year how close we are to Doomsday. And this 7 minutes to midnight is what they set it at 1947. It's a very large coral reef is in that area of the world too. I don't know if it's Poland. You can look it up. Largest coral reef besides Australia has one. There's a huge one there. And so the time is 7 minutes to 12. Then it turned into a French clock, a French provincial porcelain decorative clock, but it still said 7 minutes to 12. So, and I am having chills all over the place on this. Like my legs are just solid chills. And when that happens, it's like confirmation from spirit. So this is going to be affecting more than just that small region. Okay, so what comes right before this is we're in this NATO building. Then there's a mushroom cloud. He's handing me a writing implement to transcribe something for him. We've gone over the ETs and humans have worked together throughout history. But then he shows me a dam. And the waterfall is huge, but so is the dam. And it's meant to control the flow of water, obviously. Listener sent in a photo of this dam that's in Poland, where they etched all this artwork into the dam. And you notice in the upper right corner is a wolf. Down below there is a fish. I can't recognize some of the animals, but just suffice to say that the dam comes up right after we're at the NATO building. And then there's a mushroom cloud, and then there's a dam. So after they show me that, they show me the wolf in the background and stuff. They show me a sink, and then when the water turns on in the sink, all of a sudden a sign pops up, radiation. Okay, so then I go into this thing about the hacksaw blade and how they keep showing me this similar pattern all through this reading, which is really interesting. They show me a variety of ways. But when some reader sent in the NATO headquarters, I was like, oh my God, that is it. And then when I look in the interior, and if you see the stairs at the bottom picture here, it has that same exact pattern. So there's quite a bit of references in the reading to the NATO headquarters. The NATO headquarters comes in again around 1 hour and 2 minutes into the reading, where I talk about being in this office that is unlike any other office I've ever seen, that the windows curve. I'm 100% sure this is referring to the NATO headquarters in Brussels, Belgium. And this is where an extraterrestrial came and sat down with me and was wanting me to transcribe something. He also gave me a pouch, and it had their logo on it. And it is not any logo that I could find on the internet. It's not any NATO logo. But he did give me show me a drawstring pouch. And in that drawstring pouch was something similar to the little stones with the diagrams on them. So we went into his intricate emblem. He also showed me all these little dots in this triangle format, which is interesting because there is a statue somewhere over there in Europe that represents prisoners of war, or, all the people that died in wars, and it has a bunch of little triangles on it. I don't know if it's related to that or not. Then he showed me this giant wave, like a sea wave, like a sea curve. Now, is he showing me that because that's kind of like the top of the buildings, like he was wanting to make it clear about the buildings? And remember, at one point, I was seeing something that was like this. I'm like, oh, it's seen like this, but look at how the top interacts with each other. And then right after that, 1 hour and 8 minutes into it, they showed me the former Nazi SS logo. Thought transferred to me that where I would see this was not about the Nazi SS, but it was actually the taking back of the symbol and to its original meaning, which is victory. So that's the meaning of their roof there. But then there's a blocking of the sun, complete blocking of the sun. So this is different than the eclipse that they showed me earlier. This feels more like radiation winter, or when nuclear war would block out the sun for the entire planet. And again, the blackness, I don't need to show that over and over. I think the person I was having a reading with asked again about ETs working with humans, and they showed me a cheese slicer. So I thought that was kind of, sometimes they'll interject a little bit of lightheartedness into it, and especially if it gets kind of scary. But the extraterrestrials have been working with humans since the beginning of time. So it would only make sense if world leaders were working with them, because people have come up with inventions that don't seem to have an explanation of how they arrived with that information. Very often, people, like me or whoever, will meditate and connect with extraterrestrials. So very simple. And then again, they showed me going into the tunnels. So there was a lot in this about people going underground to survive what's coming. And now this is coming with the escalation. So this is really similar to what I was shown, although I was shown it in an arch. And I don't know if this will show up. I hope it will, this little pointer. But if you see the moon one on the top where it's the right side is lit up and the left side is dark, that was the one that they showed me when it was blocking the sun. And so then people said you're confused about lunar eclipse and solar eclipse. So on that other moon thing, so because this is done, and obviously these, whether they're extraterrestrials or angels or entities, they've been around for centuries, and this is the way they communicate. They showed me the first one where the right half was lit up and the left half was in the dark and the sun was behind it. So you can make of that what you will and look up the date, but I would assume it's significant. And then the first several after that were very clear, like I could see them clearly. And then the other ones were blurry. So I could see them though. So there's some significance to that. I can't really say without, I could probably spend several hours doing research on that. I think other people who already know about it could probably get there faster. So feel free to put in your comments, what you think is going on. So this is a second thing. This is separate than the first one, which was about either a solar or lunar eclipse, whatever the correct word is. That was a separate moon transfer of information than this. This one, they were showing me probably how long it would go on, or probably a significant date. I'm not 100% sure, but definitely this is what they showed me, with that one at the top being the first one. And then I could see the first three very clearly, and then the rest seemed blurry, which means I wonder if that means it's not set in stone, or it's not or something's likely to happen, but it might not. I'm not sure. We could either wait and see, or we could have some expert out there let us know what they make of that. The next thing they showed me was real basic. It literally looked almost exactly like this. It was just a ring within a ring. So what they showed me then was a stingray flying. So where you see the actual fish down there on the bottom, that's what I was shown. And that kind of explains something about mediumship too. It's all done in these visual images that you then have to apply to things and try to and look at. So the Americans have a stingray plane, and if you look at it there to the right, it looks just like a stingray fish. And so obviously that would be why they named it that. But that comes in around an hour and 25 minutes into the reading, this flying stingray. And again, they show me these dots on the pad, which seems to be some extraterrestrial language, or maybe even a top secret language. I don't know. But they show me that after they show me this stingray flying. So, which kind of makes me wonder if the two circles is like a target. So let's just recap here. We're in the Nato building. We're at the table. I see a mushroom cloud. I see that ETs have been working with humans. I see a dam. Then I see a cartoon animal and perhaps other creatures and stuff like that. So I'm talking about that at an hour 25 into it. And then I see that symbol, and then I see a stingray flying. So, all this is an escalation of war. Then I'm again showing these dot patterns that the ET wants me to write down. And then we go back to some stairwell symbology. Again, this is not exactly like what I saw, but I saw these stairs just breaking in half and crumbling. And they actually kind of went in a curve, and it felt like it was some really old castle. But it has to be probably symbolic, just because there was 3 separate instances of stairwell symbology in this reading at the same time. Maybe it's not. Maybe a castle will get hit, or it could just be of the world crumbling, because what comes after, again, what comes before and what comes after is sometimes important. So after all that, they showed me a clamshell. And obviously, I looked for one clamshell sideways. What they did was there was a clamshell with a pearl, and they flipped it on its side, and the pearl fell out onto the ground. Quite a few listeners actually thought that might be a reference to Hawaii. Either way, it's definitely a reference to having that pearl, almost in the palm of your hand in this clamshell and pouring it out. So could it also be a larger reference to, you had this pearl, this earth, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to drop it on its side and destroy it. Like, that could be a meaning as well. So you let me know in the comments how you interpret any of this. This is where mediums could be wrong also. So what is right is the visions they showed me that I repeated to you. Go back to that, listen for yourself, and see what your interpretation is of what I said. Here we are almost at the end, within a couple minutes, and they once again show me this clock that's 7 minutes before 12. So that's a third or fourth time that they showed this to me. And what's very interesting is I'd never heard of the Doomsday clock, but I'm 100% sure that that is what they are referring to, that here we are. This is where we are right here at the Doomsday clock. After showing me the Doomsday clock, they showed me a third reference to a staircase. And in this staircase, literally 50% of it was black going up and 50% of it was white going up. I found it amazing that I was able to Google that and actually find a photograph on the internet of a black and white staircase, because it was exactly like this. And it reminds me of the yin and the yang. I wondered, like, are they trying to show me you're all going to the same place, regardless of which side you choose? Or what is it they were trying to show me in the black and white? Like, please leave a comment on any of these. What do you think the symbolism meant? Because I'm only researching the things that I've showed you, other than the reading, are mostly from listeners doing research and sending me their information. Or like I said, I have a Facebook group. It's called Psychic Reverend Donna Seraphina's Readings and Investigations. And in there, if you're interested in my readings, or, if you feel like it, you can put what you think these symbols might mean, but you can also put them in the comments below. You don't have to join my Facebook group. It's not a hustle for my Facebook group. It doesn't matter in the sense that I'd rather have 20 people in there that just that want to talk to me, rather than, I'm not trying to get huge numbers and stuff. But you could put it in the comments. What do you think these black and white stairs mean? And okay, if I go over this whole reading, I might put on my website, which is psychicseraphina.com, basically, type the notes here. But it's 12 pages of notes that go over this whole scenario. And they show it to me as is. And I like to go, oh, this is where it's heading now. Maybe this won't happen. But that's me saying that. What they showed me was all this. This is what they showed me. So I'm going to ask more often when I do readings and meditate, unless someone's hiring me to do a reading for them. I'm going to ask more often, what do you want to show me to the angels? because this was quite profound. And, definitely we can pray for world peace. Stay tuned. Consider myself a servant of God. Like, I am here to serve God. I am here to serve spirit. My allegiance lies to spirit. So when people request things of me, it really isn't as much what they want. What I want is to serve spirit. So this is where we are. This is what they said. Please, this is so important. This is what's occurring is when I put up a reading the next day, I'm aware of multiple people with channels of psychics that, sometimes they write me for information. Some of them are really nice though. So it's like, the really nice ones will get their feelings hurt. The really nice ones will go, oh, she thinks I'm copying her. That's not the case. There's just some out there and they know who they are. If I put up a reading, they just copy it, they bastardize it, and they put it up themselves under their own name the next day. So you can really help me rise above the level where people are just committing thievery off my work. And you can do that by hitting the subscribe button. You don't know how important it is. How important it is if you do 4 things. You hit the subscribe button. You get the bell notification next to it. That means you want to be notified. You leave a comment, even a couple words down in the comment section. And then you also hit the like button. If you hit the like button and leave a comment, they will actually recommend it to 10 more people, say. So if 1,000 people hit like, they're going to recommend that video to thousands of more people. And if we can get subscribers, they also recommend the video. And that's why, people with YouTube channels are constantly asking you to subscribe, because it's almost like a voting thing where then it will start popping up in people's feeds that don't know about my work. And that's really important, because the out and out intellectual property theft on YouTube is just skyrocketing out of this world craziness. And I could see why people are skeptical of psychics, because I've seen people literally straight up take my work and put it under their own name. So having said that, I don't mind at all if someone is clipping out my work and putting my name. That's it'd be good to ask me, text me, or email me if you're going to do that. But generally, I've said yes to everybody, because that helps build my channel. So if you see my work on another channel, it's also good, probably, if it has my name on it, then they probably asked me and I said, yes, go ahead. I've even sent other people my readings. But for them to just repeat things I'm saying under their own name as if, ooh, I'm a psychic, that needs to stop. So if you see real blatant examples where somebody's doing that and you confront them, that would be greatly appreciated. And having said that, there's even one true crime sociopath that literally has taken my readings and other psychics' readings, and then she goes on her true crime channel and she goes, I just had an idea, you guys, and it might not come true, but it's just like a feeling, so we'll see. And then she literally steals the work of psychics. So I'm not going to name her, but I'm just going to say it's blatant, and you really can't do anything about it on YouTube. The most I can do is beg you, ask you, please hit the subscribe button, hit the little thumbs up, hit the bell notification, and leave a comment. So with that, because that will help support my work, and then maybe at some point I can attract enough attention to actually get funding to carry out what I feel is my mission and what I've been being shown for a couple of years. So with that, my name is Reverend Donna Seraphina. I am a legally ordained spiritualist reverend. I do consider my allegiance to God and the spirit world much more than the physical world. So with that, I just want to send you love. I want to tell you, light some candles, say some prayers. And if you have people in other states, that your family, call them and tell them how much you love them, just in case you never get to talk to them again. But, hopefully cooler heads will prevail. Hopefully the people at Nato will start de-escalating instead of escalating, because you know what's interesting, I noticed too, when they show me this, they're not taking sides. It's real neutral. They don't give blame or this side's right or this side's wrong. It's just what is. Okay, what is. This is what is. So I would suggest listening to the actual reading. The information in there is gold. Yes, I was trying a new phone recording app, and the sound quality is a little blurry, but maybe there's a good reason for that. Maybe there's a reason for everything, right? Maybe because somebody, it's like, it's there for those who can hear. It's there, the clues. It's there for people who really take it seriously enough to want to apply it. Either way, now you can understand some of the symbolism. And with that, I just love you all. I love all the people who have supported me. Such nice people have supported me through many, many trials and tribulations with some of these readings. You know, when we did the readings on Lori and Chad and all that, once I started talking about Chad, my computer was being hacked. I was having virus attacks on my computer like daily. There's a bunch of stories there I won't get into, but it isn't without consequence to confront murderers before they're even arrested. So just having said that, I want to thank all of you for standing by me and for supporting me and supporting my work. You know, all right. If you wanted to, you could donate on my GoFundMe. There's links around there somewhere. I don't even know I think it's called Find the Lost and the Missing. So, yes, I do personal readings. I also have a whole variety of services I offer. So if you are interested in any of that, like spiritual development, mentorship, I also do grief work. So like ongoing sessions, all kinds of things. You can write to me, put what your interest is in the subject matter. I can't read a whole long page. There's like, every time I do a live, there's another 1,000 emails of people who are interested in readings. And right now I'm booking in several months in advance. So if you're interested, just go ahead and send me an email. And my email is Reverend Donna Seraphina, and that's with a PH, @gmail.com. All right. Thank you and have a good day.